Hi there booktube, it's Eleanor here, and it's that exciting time of year again where we get to talk about our favourite books of the year. So I'm going to be doing mine as a whole week this week. You'll get a whole week of my best of 2016. I've read so many good books this year that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned as many as possible. So what I'm doing is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday you will be seeing from me best of science fiction and fantasy, or comics and graphic novels, or classics, or general fiction. And then on Friday I will be rounding up with my top 10 of the year. So I hope you enjoy these videos, and yeah, let's get stuck into today's one, which is comics and graphic novels. Okay, so I have 6 comics and graphic novels to talk to you about that come into my 5-star category for 2016. Some of these will come as no surprise because they're more recent reads, and some may be ones that you haven't heard me talk about as much. So to begin with, I want to talk about an author who has 2 books in this top 6, and that is Lucy Knisley. Now, I've read all of her books bar one, I think now, and in my top 6 of the year is Relish, My Life in the Kitchen, which I absolutely loved. As I've talked about numerous times before, I love her artwork and I love her way of telling her story. She writes about her life and she writes about things that just fit in with everybody. There is the struggles of coming to terms with what you want to do and travel, and in this case she's talking about growing up and her life growing up and how it relates to food, and her mother and father were both into food, especially her mum, and she learnt how to cook and learnt various different life lessons. And I love this one as well because at the end of every chapter you get how to make something. So this one's about sushi, which I think is a really great edition, and I just love it. So I gave this one 5 stars, so it meets my criteria for my top of the year. And then also more recently I read her Something New, which is her latest one, and this is about her relationship with her long-term boyfriend John, who she broke up with for a number of years in between, but has since they got back together, got engaged, and this is the story of their engagement and their wedding and planning a wedding and what happens when we plan a wedding. So we have a brief section at the beginning talking about how they met, their relationship, and how they stayed friends even when they weren't together, and then it's mainly talking about planning a wedding, the pitfalls and perks, and it's just wonderful. It's full of witty humour, really interesting facts, and I just love her way of talking. I just think she's brilliant. I really love her artwork, and yeah, I can't speak highly enough of her. So these are both hitting my top 6 for graphic novels and comics for this year. Next, I want to talk about a graphic novel series that took me a little bit by surprise. I'd heard some mixed things about it. Quite a few people weren't so keen on it, and I just really love it. And that is Low. And Low is by Remenda and Tuccini. This is volume 1, The Delirium of Hope. And I'll give you a bit of an overview of the art style in this, which isn't my usual style of art. However, I really enjoyed it. And I'll just show you volume 2, which is Before the Dawn Burns Us. And again, the art style. I own volume 3, but I have yet to read it. I think it's less the artwork for this, because the artwork wouldn't necessarily be something that would draw me in for this. It's not my usual sort of clean lines and bright colours. But the story in this, I just really fell in love with. So it's a story of Earth. Earth has become a place where it is inhabitable. The sun has expanded. It's caused the earth to be inhabitable. Why am I trying to say it again? Inhabitable. And so all of the humans have gone down under the sea, really low down, hence the title, to the depths of the sea, and living in these sort of bubble towns, and this has been a number of years now, and as they've been down there, these probes have been sent into space to try and find habitable planets or other life forms that can help them. And one of these probes has finally, after all this time, crashed down to Earth, and it's up to a family to try and discover what that probe says to get to the surface. And this is sort of their journey and various things that happen in the space between, and it's really dark, it's very graphic, there's quite a lot of nudity and sex in this, and yeah, I think some people don't like this because of the nudity and the way that the women are portrayed in this. They're very sort of sexualized and very sort of used as sex objects and things like that, but I think for me it works because it feels right for the kind of setting that this is. It's quite dark, it's in this sort of dark, gritty universe, and yeah, I just think it works for me, so I really enjoyed these. Next up, it will be no surprise, I have been loving I Hate Fairyland, and I've been loving the new arc in I Hate Fairyland. I have still to catch up with it actually, but this is such a good fun series. I just really love it. It's quirky, it's fun, it's all the things I like in terms of art style and colour. We have a main protagonist who is a young girl. She wishes to go to Fairyland. Her wish comes true, but she can't get out until she's completed this sort of quest, but she's not able to do it, and so she's stuck there for years and years and years, stuck in a child's body, but sort of a 30-year-old woman. She's rude and crude and swears and kills everyone, and there's blood and guts and gore, but it's all done in this sort of very candy cane Oz type setting. It's just hilarious. I love it. It's just a really, really well thought out and cleverly done comic series, and I'm really enjoying it. Next up is Jem and the Holograms. I've been loving this series. I grew up when Jem was first out. I watched Jem as a child. I loved it. I wanted to be truly outrageous, and I wanted to be Jem, and I just thought it was brilliant, and I just loved the fact that they've revived this story. And although the artwork is it's a little bit more basic than I like, but I do love the colour palette in this. I just really enjoy how they've used signature colours throughout. I really like how that ties in with things, and I just really like the way that they've rebooted this story, and I'm really excited to see where they take it. I have got volume 3, I've yet to read it, but volumes 1 and 2 I really loved. So if you want to try Jem for the first time to see if it's your thing, these are definitely a good way to go. And if you watch the film and you've been put off, then it's not the same as the film. I really, personally, anything Jem is for me. I loved the film, I loved the original cartoon, I love the graphic novels, but they're definitely worth a try if you want something a bit fun. If you don't know the story of Jem, you know, I forget, some people don't know the story of Jem. It's about a girl called Jem and her foster sisters, and she has grown up with out her father, who was sort of a scientist, and at his death he's bequeathed her certain things, and they form a band, and she's too shy to get up. She's got terrible stage fright, but it turns out that something her father has given her can help, and I won't tell you any more because if you haven't read it, I really think you should get into it yourself, and it's just really, really good, and I love it. And then finally is My Little Pony. I have been drawn into the My Little Pony world via my 4-year-old Matilda. Matilda is an avid watcher of My Little Pony on Netflix. She loves all of the series of Friendship is Magic. She loves the films where the My Little Ponies are little girls, and often I am caught sitting there watching it with her, and I found myself quite enjoying it, and I just found myself wanting to try it for myself, and so I picked up the graphic novels, and they're just so much fun. I really, really enjoy reading them, and I know that when Matilda's older she'll enjoy reading these if she's still into My Little Pony, but if she isn't then Mummy will still enjoy them. They're just very nice. They have really nice positive messages behind them. They talk about friendship, they talk about the pitfalls and the things that you go through growing up and how to sort of deal with things and the importance of various things. There's always sort of a message and a moral message in these, which I really enjoy, and I just think they're just perfect art style for me as well. I would recommend that if you want to try reading them, because I have this background of watching so much of the TV show, that perhaps you find out a better volume to start at. This is sort of assuming that you know who the ponies are, and I think it might be better to start with one of the volumes where you're getting to know the ponies and their backstories. I think there is one called Pony Tales which talks about the ponies and how they met, so this is sort of further on in the series, but I'm certainly enjoying it, and yeah, it's in my top 6. So those are my top 6 comics and graphic novels for 2016. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these and enjoyed them, or if you haven't enjoyed them, let me know. And also, what would be your top graphic novels or comics for this year? I'd be really interested to find out. Anyway, I'll catch you tomorrow with another video in my Best of 2016 series. Bye for now, BookTube.